Since the House passed the HEROES Act back in May, the Democratic majority has shrunk. Republicans are still in charge of the Senate for now. So where is the middle ground?
I think the middle ground is seen when you consider the kinds of economic challenges that we face right now, both in terms of the surging virus and the slowing economy. So instead of thinking sort of top down and which number of trillions is the right one, think bottom up. Think about controlling the virus and the agenda that the president-elect has laid out. He has consistently said, and others have, Jay Powell says the same thing, that there's just no robust economic recovery out there without a serious play to control the virus. Then you think about unemployment insurance. We know that over 20 million claims are filed weekly, and we know that many of those claims expire at the end of this year. We also know that the increase in long-term unemployment from 1.6 to 3.6 million over the past 2 months is the largest increase on record. So clearly there are significant needs out there. I haven't even yet talked about state and local budgets and small business. I think the bottom-up way is a good way to think about this.
Well, I think Republicans would agree with that, Jared, and certainly there has been support for additional unemployment assistance and to re-up some of those small business programs. The problems lie when you start adding the state and local funding and other stuff on top of that. And when we look at what's coming up in the next few weeks, I mean, the only piece of legislation that has any sense of urgency is the bill to fund the government, where discussions are underway. So do you think that there should be support from Democrats for adding a few of these programs to that bill, if that's the only way you can secure the votes?
I'm going to echo what the president-elect said yesterday and what you just played. You happen to zero in on what I think are the most important words vis-a-vis this topic in his talk yesterday, and that's now. He said, this should happen now, not tomorrow. And so, whatever vehicle that is available in the lame duck should be in play in this regard. A lot of times president-elects want to wait until they get into office to start moving policies with their fingerprints on them. Here you have the president-elect, and by the way, his chief of staff, Ron Klain, said the same thing on the news shows over the weekend, saying, yeah, there are lots of things that can wait for us to be in office. This is not one of them. And by the way, I think there's a lot of bipartisan energy behind this. There are a lot of red state governors and mayors who want to see and need to see state and local help. Certainly, the surging virus in places, it requires this kind of intervention. And it reminds me of Biden saying, I'm not a president of red or blue America. I'm president of all America, and all America needs this help. We actually saw a hint of it in the retail sales report this morning that came in below expectations.
Jared, it's David. It still seems highly unlikely you're going to see any action between now and when President-elect Biden takes office. I mean, you can say all you want about local leaders, and certainly they see what's happening on the ground, but there's no sense right now from Senate leadership that they're going to move on anything. And the President Trump, certainly doesn't seem interested in the slightest.
Well, you may be right. I hope you're not. And you're certainly describing a lack of action and urgency that I, too, have observed. But it's not going to keep me from essentially having my hair on fire about this, because that's how I feel. I mean, I think that the economy is at a much more precarious place than that lack of urgency would suggest. And I think the president-elect's comments yesterday reflect that. And he is particularly tuned into this relationship between the surging virus and its impact on commerce. And again, if you look at today's retail sales report, you can start to see perhaps, I don't want to overinterpret one report, that in-person services look like they really got dinged. And I suspect if we were able to dig down into that geographically, we would see a connection between the virus. Politics can surprise you, and things that look impossible today can look kind of inevitable a few days from now. So I'm going to continue to hammer on this, and I'm sure the president-elect will as well.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.